How's it going this week in Airsoft? This is Javier, Dark Horse. I'm down here at the parachute school. Been learning all week. Got my manual. Along with learning all the procedures and learning everything I need to know how to fly the MC4 parachute and land safely. I also brought down the Team Wendy helmet with me. This is their Exfil bump helmet. It is a non-ballistic helmet that they were kind enough to let me borrow for a month. So I'm going to play with it a little more when I get home, but I think the real test of what it can and can't do was to be proven here. Just a quick overview on a couple features of it. The accessories are all my stuff, so it doesn't come with a strobe, it doesn't come with the light, it doesn't come with the patches and all that. This is a pair of Smith Optics boogie regulators, and those are my pair also. As far as the helmet itself, it does come with a Wilcox night vision mount in front of it. That's a really nice mount. It's nice and flush too. I talked to some of the guys here as far as airborne operations. A lot of times things get taped over so nothing gets snagged. So this being kind of as flush as it is kind of a nice feature, especially when you're jumping and you don't want anything to get snagged. And it works really well. It's really sturdy. I have a standard Rhino mount, which the camera is attached to right now, and that mount goes right in and marries perfectly with it. It holds nice and tight. There's no chance of it coming off. So for those of you guys with mounts with cameras and those of you guys that you do use night vision, you're not going to lose your mount in any way coming off of the helmet right there. So that's a nice feature right there. This is a good solid piece here. It's metal, so it's not like it's not the carbon fiber composite material that the rest of the helmet is. You've got two retaining bungee cords here in the front to hold things down. I particularly like these a little more than the ones on the Ops Core helmet, just because it's two lines. It's not just that one single line that can fill over time, and the hooks have a wide grab to them, so they work really nicely. When they're not engaged, you can loop them into each other right here and keep them on here, rather than try and hook them onto your night vision mount or somewhere where you could lose it and it could pop off. So I definitely prefer these over the ones that I've seen on that Ops Core helmet. They do come with a small rail on the side. These are the MOE rails in a composite material in the plastic, not metal. It's all about keeping weight down on this helmet. Some people say, oh, it's cheap plastic. It's not cheap plastic. It's the stuff that Magpul uses. It's high quality. It'll last. Specifically in an airborne situation that we've been in this week, I talked to some of the guys that have jumped. You know, they're more prevalent in their jumps. They also say that their only concern is snagging because of the way the rails stick out. But once again, you can just tape over it and you can jump with it safely. It'll give you a nice smooth surface to pass over. As far as the day-to-day use in your game, it'll work great. You can put your contour right on the side. You can put a light on the side. But that one part of it is strictly an airborne concern for those of you thinking about it. If you're not mounted, and you don't want anything on the side of your helmet anyways when you jump, because it can get pulled by the risers. It can be ripped off by the risers like a contour camera. All our cameras have to be top mounted on this helmet. So you can either tape over it if you're jumping with it, or you can just unscrew it, take it off, and put it back on later. You know, if you're jumping into an operation, and you can't have your contour on the side, you're not going to put it back on the ground. You'll already have it on top of your head. So the rails become pointless at that, for that particular instance. Now you do have the arc rails above, the thin rails here. You got to kind of work and figure out the parts so you can mount your headset directly to it if you like. I still personally prefer to have an independent headset separate from my helmet, just because it's weight, and maybe I just don't feel like wearing my helmet at this particular event, so I don't want to have to marry my headset to this thing and then never be able to take it off. That's the same thing with the Ops Core. Completely the same feeling about it. One small drawback I will say about this rail is that the Smith Optics comes with the little sliders that go into the rail system, so you can mount your boogie regulators into that rather than the bungee. There's nowhere to get that system in here, so those just don't work. So you have to go with the Velcro system, which is fine. I like it. It's not a big deal. But once again, those of you guys that want to look at every little detail and question it, there's something if you want to complain about it. But as far as the Velcro, it's all really nice, really well set up. Maybe a little off center, but honestly, I don't care about that thing. At $450, I've heard this complaint. At $450, people are like, the Velcro and everything needs to be in the perfect and right place. I'm going to tell you that at $450, it needs to protect your head, and it needs to be comfortable all day long. And I can tell you already from two good jumps that it has saved my noggin already. It saved my brain. The retention system in here is extremely comfortable, and I find it superior to a lot of the systems that we're seeing out right now, the padding system and then even the obstacle system, because your head is actually sustained inside of the system, separate from the outer shell of the head. So anybody that knows about brain impact and injury is that as that energy goes into the shell, it's transferred all the way around and through into whatever's inside. Now, since your head sits basically in a cradle inside of the helmet, and you impact, the helmet absorbs all the impact, travels around, but since your head is not in direct contact with the outer shell, you're not taking that blunt force trauma that you would be taking in another system. So that's why I honestly think this is superior. Their padding system in here, these packs are designed so that even at like 32 degrees and below zero, at just below freezing, they won't get cold and hard. And a lot of systems, even in the MIDGE, the Army system with the padding in the helmet, those pads get hard with cold weather. Same thing with the Ops Corps one. It's just the way they're built. You know, you get cold enough, the foam gets hard, and there's less cushion there. These stay soft all the time, giving you continuous protection and offering you continuous support. So definitely, if you don't want to buy the helmet itself, their carbon fiber helmet, the retention system is well worth the money. You also have, just before I go back, more details on the inside. It is ventilated across the top here. It does let air in nicely, and when you have that gap, like I said, in between your head and the harness system, it allows for nice airflow and a nice pocket for comfort. So that's a big plus. Going inside, like I said, more detail. You can adjust the helmet very easily. These cam locks open, unlock, open up, and you can slide left and right, up and down your chin strap to adjust it. It is much easier to adjust than any system I've worked with before. It's easier than the standard MIDGE helmet harness that you gotta like fight it to slide it. This thing, you just unlock the cam lock, slide up and down, and like I said, from flying at it with 90 miles an hour out of a plane, these cam locks don't fail. It doesn't slide at all, so you don't have to worry about that. Some guys have been saying that some guys have said that the buckle seems a little smaller and a little lighter. It is smaller, it is lighter, but it's not any less strong. Impact tests have shown that the thing stays retained and stays on your head. A common issue that some of us had on our jumps, and some of the guys said that their helmet would slide around once they got out of the plane. You know, you'd be in there and the wind would grab it or force would grab it and it'd start tilting back or tilting forward, and guys are like, oh, I had to adjust it before it ended up down over my face. Well, you don't have this problem with the Team Wendy helmet. When you put it on your head and you push down on the knob and you lock it, you can hear all the clicks, and you lock it all the way down tight around your head. I can be sitting on the ground and my chin strap can be undone, and I can do an op with it cranked all the way down on my head, and I don't have to worry about it falling off. The helmet won't move even without the chin strap. Now I get up in the plane, lock it down, lock it down around my head, and I can guarantee, and I never had it move a single inch around on my head. So that's extremely important, because you don't want that whiplash action at all. You know, the air gets into it and it starts creating whiplash on you. So this is extremely important. I'd have to say, I definitely say that for airborne operations, the helmet has proven itself to be ideal. The price tag is well worth it now. I was honestly, I would say I was skeptical. I said, looks like a great helmet, but maybe for $300, $350 at the most, but $450 is a lot. 2 impact tests and hitting hard with it. My head did perfectly well with it. Very comfortable. I can go with it all day long. I highly recommend it. And the retention system. The retention system is everything here in this sucker. This is all your money right here, and it's every little bit of it is worth it to have it and to invest in it. Even like I said, if you don't like the shell and the setup for it, you get the retention system. You put it in your helmet. It is perfect and ideal, and it does the job. So that's my overall assessment on the Team Wendy Exfil helmet, bump helmet this week. I look forward to working with more of what Team Wendy has to offer, and if it's all as good as this, then I don't see why there should be any problem with us getting along. So once again, this is the Team Wendy Exfil bump helmet. I highly recommend it, and I definitely give it a good, I give it a 12 out of 10, and that's just because I've pushed it to the limits farther than probably any airsofters will ever do. At that speed in the plane, in the wind, and an impact, the suckers saved my brain, and it works incredibly. So I trust it, and I highly recommend that you trust it too. This is Javier, Dark Horse, with This Week in Airsoft. I'll talk to you guys next time.